Assalamu alaikum, this is Oman. Hope you all are fine. Today we will learn that how we can create a new vendor, how we can create multiple vendors at the same time, and moreover we will also learn that how we can delete, edit, inactive or merge our vendors. So as you all know that after launching QuickBooks we have got our home page. All what we have to do is just to click on vendors. You can click here or you can also click here. From both the options you will go to your vendors center. So let me go from there. Now your vendor information center is open, and as you can see I have already created a new vendor here, but to show you people I will create a new vendor. So just go to new vendor, select new vendor. Here you have got the same 5 tabs which you have already seen in our last video when we were creating our new customer. It's address information, payment settings, tax settings, account settings and additional information. These are all the same 5 tabs which you have already seen. So because in our businesses, as you all know that a vendor of someone will be a customer for some other business, so that's why they have the same settings. Here we will provide a vendor name. For example, this one is providing us laptops. HP laptop. His company name is RTY Labs and the owner name is Aline. And all this information which I am providing here, I got it from that visiting card or from that quotation which my vendor have provided me. It's not any information which I have acquired from any other means. It's just the written information on that visiting card which he have provided me. So I will just put that information which I have, no anything else I have to mention there. Now the next one is payment settings. When a customer came to us and he is just providing us a visiting card, he will not provide us the account number for any transaction at the same time because it's just our first meeting with him. So I'm not going to write here any type of account number because he is not provided us. So the payment terms, here the payment terms are those that about in how many days we are going to pay our vendor. For example, it's the net 30 days that our company and the vendor has finalized that our vendor will receive the amount from us in just 30 days. That we will pay our vendor in 30 days. The credit limit you can set. For example, we can purchase an inventory of nearly 1 million from that vendor on credit. Now the tax settings, and here the people who knows about the principles of taxation, they might know that whenever we will purchase something from our vendor, most of the time when at the time of payment we deduct the tax from that amount which we are going to pay to our vendor. So when we are deducting the tax which we will pay to FBR later, we must know that tax ID. For example, his tax ID Tell us which expense account to pre-fill when you enter bills from this vendor. As you know, because when we are making a purchase that we are paying cash to any person, that means it's an expense for our business. So that's why QuickBooks is asking that which expense account you are going to attach with that vendor. So as we are purchasing an inventory here, so whenever we are purchasing inventory, we will attach an account purchases with it. So let me check here if we have a purchases account. As you can see here, account 52700 purchases hardware for sale, and it always falls in cost of goods sold head. And the next option is additional information. Here we can select our vendor type, and because he is a supplier and he is supplying us that inventory which we will resell to our customers, so we can select supplier here. And these are those custom fields which we made last time for our customers. And as you know that our custom fields, we can make these for our customers, vendors and employees as well. So that's why they are still showing here, but we will not do anything with it right now. And now you can just tap OK. And now as you can see, we have created another vendor. His complete information is here on the vendor information pane. Company name, full name, vendor type, payment terms, and billed from, phone number, everything is here. And if we will do any transaction with him, it will be shown here in this transaction pane. And now we will learn that how we can add multiple customers at a time. So what you all have to do is just to go new vendor, add multiple vendors, and it's nearly the same interface which you have seen last time at adding multiple customers. So before adding new vendors, we will do something. What we have to do is just to customize these columns, because there are some extra columns and there are some columns even which we need but they are not present here in our panel. So we will customize these columns. Select customize columns. You can see these are the chosen columns which are already here in our panel, and these are the available columns. So let me check which are those extra columns which we are wishing to delete first. For example, here this column Mr. and Mrs, we will delete it. Select Mr. Mrs and remove. MI remove. We can also remove that last name because we are just going to put the name of our vendor in that first name column. And here there are 5 columns for addresses, but we are going to keep only one here, and I will remove the rest 4. And now you can see that the information here in chosen columns is much concise, and now we can add some more columns from these available site. And here I can add vendor type. I can also add account number. So this is how we customized our vendor information center. Here we can add multiple vendors at the same time. For example, we are going to transfer all our previous data from any other accounting software like Excel or to QuickBooks. So it's like that. Let me show you. Here we will write the vendor name. For example, it's and this vendor type is also a supplier. And just select save changes, and this is how, as you can see, we have added another vendor here. And this will and it was much easy than before, how we have entered all the information in our vendor information center. It was a long step, but here we did all this in very few time. And now we will learn that how we can import our information from any other application like Excel in QuickBooks, because it is the same interface of columns and rows just like in Excel. So now we are going to import our information from an Excel file. What I all have to do is just to open that Excel file in which I have already set my data before. And here you can see some columns: vendor name, company name, owner name, address and phone number. So I will copy each column one by one. It's all by Control C and Control V. So as you can see, it was that easy. We have imported the information of nearly 5 to 6 customers just in a few seconds from our Excel file, and it was that easy. Now what you all have to do is just to select save changes, and QuickBooks is telling you that 5 vendor records have been saved. And just go back, close it, and now you can see your vendor list has new 5 vendors. And now we will learn that how we can add a bill to one of our vendors so that we can see it in our transaction pane. All what you have to do, select any of the vendor, and here I will select that vendor which is supplying us speakers. Do right click and select enter bills. And a new page has opened in front of you. It's the column where you will mention the account with which this transaction is going to be attached. So for example, I will select here purchases hardware for resale, and the amount is, for example, 50,000, and terms are net 30. Click save and close. And now you can see that here in our transaction panel we can see that transaction which we are going to do with our vendor which is supplying us speakers. So here the interesting thing is that QuickBooks has already attached that account with our transaction, in which we will record the second aspect of our journal entry, which is accounts payable. And we are going to pay 50,000 rupees to our vendor. And now we will learn that we can always edit our vendor. If some information is missing, we can put it later. For example, there might not be enough information on his visiting card, but now when we are going to do some transaction without that vendor, we will put the necessary information first. So how we can do it, we will edit our vendor. So just select your vendor. For example, this one, I will select that keyboard seller, select edit vendor, and now that 5 tabs page is in front of you. So you can add any type of information which you want to put here right now. So for example, here we can write job title. So he is the shop owner, and now we can add some payment settings here. For example, he has provided us some account number in which we will pay his amount, like our payment terms are finalized and it's net 15, and his name credit limit. Now we can also attach an account with it. For example, here we will attach the same account, hardware resale. Click OK, and now you can see we have provided the maximum of information which was missing. Here the company name is full name, vendor type, account number, terms, and his phone number. Everything is provided to QuickBooks. And now we will learn that if we don't need any vendor anymore, like we are not going to do any transaction without that particular vendor, we can delete it from our books. But the same case with the customers, that we can only delete those customers with whom we have not done any transactions yet. So same is the case in vendors, that we cannot delete any vendor with which we have already done any transaction in past. So we can only make him inactive, and if we are wishing to delete that vendor, first we have to remove that transaction and then we can delete that vendor from our list. So let me show you that if I will go to delete that vendor which is supplying us speakers, I will go to delete vendor, and QuickBooks will tell you that QuickBooks cannot delete this name because it has a balance or it is used in at least one transaction. So what you can do is just to make him inactive, select inactive, and now that particular vendor is not in your list anymore. You can also make it active again. So what you all have to do is just to select all vendors here, and it will show all the vendors which are active or inactive. So the vendors which are not active in your active vendor list will have a cross beside their name. So if you want to make them active again, just check that, just uncheck that cross, and now your that vendor is active again. To check this thing that you have activated this vendor or not, you can just go back to your active vendors list, and now you can see it is again showing in your active vendors list. And the next thing we can learn that how we can delete that vendor with which we have not done any transactions yet. For example, we will select that laptop LCD seller, just do right click, select delete vendor. Are you sure you want to delete this vendor? Select OK, and now this vendor is not in your list anymore, it's deleted. And now we will learn that how we can merge the two accounts of our vendors into just one account, and it's very easy as it was in the case of our customers. All you have to do is just to select that account which you want to merge with any other account. For example, you want to merge your account computer processors with the account desktop CPU. So just select computer processors, and in the bar vendor name type desktop CPU. Select OK, and now you can see QuickBooks is asking you the name is already being used, would you like to merge them? Select yes, and now there is no any type of vendor computer processors anymore, and it is already merged in desktop CPU. So this is how you can merge your account. So it was all for today. Hope you liked the video, and please subscribe the channel if you have not subscribed yet. Thanks for watching. Allah Hafiz.